Hey guys, Spiritual Empress in the house. How are you? This is Megan Lynn. For anybody who's new to the channel, this is Spiritual Empress, Spirit 101 basically. So if anybody has questions, this channel is not intended to get really huge. It was really for people who are having really unique experiences that they couldn't have explained to them by mentors, by fucking Reiki practitioners. I don't know. I can say that when I was going through all this stuff, I was going through it by myself. Even my mentors could not understand what I was going through, and they would still give me some bullshit fluff answer on what they thought it was. Even in the psychic community, I was considered strange. So now I can say, knowing what I know now, a lot of people are seeing how unique it is. So if you guys are having any sort of issues with unique entities, dark entities, I don't know if you can go back through my old videos. I talk a lot about different kinds of entities, different kinds of multidimensional beings, different experiences that I've had. Today I'm just going to do a story time on demonic possession and spiritual body jumpers. So I guess I'll just get right into it. So people who experience demonic possession or spiritual jumpers, that's usually something that they experience because the only way that some sort of spirit or anything can jump you is because they've gotten your aura actually lowered, the vibration actually lowered, or they've created a weak spot. So a lot of the ways that they do this is they do a prolonged amount of time, some sort of maybe haunting. They can move things, they can do things, they can startle you. Honestly, anytime they can get you in a fight or flight state, that does lower your auric vibration temporarily to where they can have access to you. More access to you, they can drain more energy from you. They have the potential to jump you in that situation. So my situation, normally I'll explain kind of how it happens. If any of you have experience with night attacks, different entities, I had night attacks and experiences with different entities since I've been little. I had night terrors, I would sleepwalk, I would do all kinds of shit, and I sleptwalked for a very long time. Like I can still sleepwalk. The only thing is I've made like a soul contract that I can't actually like leave my house when I do it, so that seemed to work out. I don't think I've like sleptwalked in a really long time. I wouldn't really know though, would I? So basically when they come, is as far as low-level entities, they will come usually on the brink of sleep. So when you're between a conscious and subconscious states, when it's not black and white and you're kind of in that in-between, that's when your body has the ability to astral project. So if you guys don't have any knowledge on astral projection, you can look it up. You can go look at my old videos if you want to. Astral projection is when the body or the soul has the ability to leave the body and travel and go to different dimensions. Also explore, and they can spy on whoever they want, I guess, in this realm. But I typically don't do that. I'm not that much of a voyeur. So, but as far as that goes, if anybody is going to be the most open that they can be to being spiritually jumped, psychically jumped, demonically possessed, that's going to be when either they've really lowered your vibration of your aura or weakened your aura, or they constantly have you in a fight or flight state, which is the lowest, honestly, the lowest state I feel like your aura can be in, because that is a kind of a very primal ability that we had to boost our adrenaline in case that we were attacked, our young was being attacked, we were hunting, things like that, things that we don't need anymore, that society constantly puts us in a stressful state to where we go into fight or flight. It's actually not necessary for us to have that state anymore. So what usually low-level entities will do is, like I said, this could be like a prolonged haunting or something like that, where maybe it'll start as kind of small things that you kind of like write off or things like that, but also activity can escalate the more they get the energy from you of you either being in a confused state. A lot of that comes from when maybe your keys keep going missing, or, and you keep thinking you're imagining things. Now they're getting you to second guess yourself, which causes confusion, which weakens your aura. So a lot of them will do like a prolonged haunting. After a while, usually activity will escalate at some point where they really start to once they can keep controlling and getting you in a confused state or in a frightened state, it weakens your aura for them to go ahead and seek an opportunity to maybe either kind of soul suck you or jump you. So this is true for, demons, low-level spirit entities. My experience specifically, I have experience with a lot of clients and, friends who have come to me who have had, scratch marks, things like that. If you go back to my old videos about demonology and stuff like that, I've never been scratched. So the demons can fuck off. I've never been scratched. I vibrate far too high for that. And in case you guys don't know, the 3 scratches is kind of like a desecration of the Holy Trinity. So I was watching these paranormal shows and they're just like so funny because the people just are not in their power. And that's basically the only thing. I've said this time and time again. You guys need to understand the only way to truly, truly protect yourself other than putting your power behind sage or crystals or, somebody coming in and exorcising the building or things like that. You guys can actually get rid of these yourself. And that's just in standing in your power. And I'm not saying in the way that, you go around with a Bible and, you kind of, this is my home, you are not allowed here, that kind of thing. It's really owning your God spot. These entities down here are not powerful at all. They're actually very weak. They're very immature. They don't have a lot of pull as long as you know that you are the God. So as far as those low-level entities go, they'll come on the brink of sleep. They really try to startle you. Also, it can be very frightening and startling, guys, if you are experiencing these kinds of things. I get it. There's some times where it's kind of hard not to. If I'm walking through like a location that's like has high activity and you're just walking around, for me, I'm tuning in. So when I do tune in, it can make me very sensitive to sounds, to noise, and things like that. I typically don't get too startled, but every once in a while, you can't help yourself. If you hear a bang, it's an instantaneous reaction to in your aura kind of get, startled a little bit. So that also does weaken your aura. So you have to be very grounded and conscious of, your power. And honestly, what they do is just child's play. So I'll get into my experience about, potentially being jumped. So screw you thing that tried to jump me. That was a spirit low-level entity. I can't remember what his name was. I had done angel demon trainings years and years and years ago when I first started experiencing dark entities. My mentors couldn't explain what they were. It was very frustrating because they would still give me some like bullshit answer even though they had no idea what I was talking about. I'd be like, this thing was like chomping on me and froze me, and then they would just look at me like I was a crazy person. So even in the psychic community, I was considered weird. But it's cool with all these shows coming out that, people are really seeing that these things do exist. Just know that they're very weak. So my experience was I had gone through about a 3-month depression. It was really, really bad, you guys. It was bad. Like, I was bedridden for 3 months. I was in like a really toxic relationship. This dude would like bounce in and out. He straight up disappeared for 3 months. Didn't know where he was. I was very worried the whole time. He was very narcissistic in the whole thing. So if any of you guys have questions about narcissists, hello, come ask me. But anyway, during this time when I was like in a deep depression, so I can say when you are in a depressed state like that, a lot of people with abilities can PK manifest. So parakinetic energy, you guys can actually create your own entities, things like that. I didn't quite create my own entity because even at a low state, I still vibrate a lot higher than other people. But what I can say is this went to, I can say it was like the depths of hell for me. And that's what I said, because of course the narcissist always comes back, right? So he came back around and I said, I'm dealing with different beings and different energies and different gods now. And, if you go back to the same behaviors, you'll be sorry. So anyway, it was because at this time, that's when this dark period is when the Anubis energy came to me. I had never really thought of Anubis, really, the Egyptian god of the underworld. Never really thought of him. He came to me, and he's basically the commander of dark entities. So again, years and years ago, I had done angel training in my sleep. It was straight scenarios in my sleep for 2 months in a row. I lost too much sleep. I had to stop it. But I had already learned a lot about low-level entities, but at that point, I hadn't had that much experience fighting them other than just knowing my God spot, and honestly, that seemed to be enough. So when Anubis came, he basically came and kind of showed me his ways of handling dark entities and commanding them. So what I had to do for the next couple months was I had to learn how to command them in, and it wasn't a God way, which I had already, I'm getting some energy here, female. I had to actually learn how to kind of control it, but also command them. So in a way, it can never be misused. You can't misuse like a Nubian energy. But I had came out of that being very, very strong. I was very aware that I was a lot stronger than I was before. My abilities were a lot stronger than they were before. So during this time, I'm going to say towards like the end of the 3 months, I'd had experience with nighttime attacks before of different kinds of entities bothering me at night. A lot of people in the psychic community have experience with this. Some people have experience with, sleep paralysis. They just kind of write it off as sleep paralysis, and maybe it is nighttime attacks, things like that. I was actually asleep. So normally when some sort of entity or low vibrational being tries to infiltrate your aura or get to you, it's going to be that in-between state. I was not in that in-between state. Also, when you astral project, it's typically in that in-between state. So I was not. I was out of deep sleep at this time. I was in a deep sleep. I was having this great dream. It really doesn't make sense. I don't know why I was so happy in this dream, but I was like walking out of a Sprouts or something with my cart, and I just remember being very, very happy with myself. Now, for those of you who don't astral project, I'm going to say it's almost like Peter Pan, and I think that there's something to that movie that the government or whoever puts in there, but it's think happy thoughts. If you are astral projecting, you have to be in a rested place, but I also find that it's only been successful for me when I've been in a very, very happy place. So I was walking out of Sprouts in my dream, very, very happy with myself. Now in the dream, I became aware that I was starting to astral project. And when you astral project, you guys, you're fully aware that you are doing it. You are not like, oh, what's happening? Or you are aware that you are leaving your body. You become sort of consciously awake. So it's almost like you're in the dream, but you're awake to the dream. You understand that this is a dream. It's almost like lucid dreaming, but you kind of wake up out of that dream state, but not physically, just like in the dream. So I started to kind of wake up into an astral. I started going into an astral state. So to me, I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, I'm astraling. I love astraling. I love to fly. So like for me, I'm like, dope. Let's go. So anyway, I start to astral out of my body. And then all of a sudden, I was like smacked down. Now, when I was smacked down, I'm going to let you guys know, like, astral projection, like I said, you're aware. So like, it's not mental, but like soul level, you're aware, you're awake right now. You can understand everything that's going on. My body was asleep at the time. Now being smacked down, that woke me up. That woke me up physically because I knew that something was going on. All I felt, and I'm sure some of you have had like sleep paralysis, things like that before, was weight on me. And it was like a body was on me. I couldn't see anything, of course, at the time. And I ended up opening my eyes. And at first I didn't see anything. I was just like in sleep paralysis. Now, anybody knows, anybody in sleep paralysis who wakes up to it, you hear the stories. Usually I went to try to scream and I couldn't scream, or I went to call for help and couldn't help, or I couldn't move, or I couldn't this. So that startling, that fight or flight kind of reaction that your body has, that's exactly what they feed off of to get at you. So I felt like a very weird presence pushing me down. Now, this is not something I hadn't experienced before, but because it was so sudden and I was in such a happy sleep state, of course, it's going to startle me, which is going to keep me in the paralysis, right? Because they have the control now. So it was the weirdest thing I've ever felt before because it was laying on me and it felt like a body was on me. And then I could feel something almost crawling up, because I was under the covers, crawling up the covers. And to me, I felt this weird, I can't explain it. I think I saw for a second what they were seeing through my eyes. It was very, very, very weird. And I felt almost like my body had been kind of, I don't understand, I can't explain it, kind of pushed out of itself. And this thing had kind of come in a little bit, and my eyes kind of changed and kind of saw the room in like a different light. And then at this point, I don't know how, guys, because it's never happened to me before. I just knew what was going on. And I knew this being was like partially either in my aura or something like that. And I immediately, once I recognized what it was, and I can say, like, if you guys ever work with like demonology, what they'll usually do is they'll try to get a name of the demon. I usually find the name of the demon. So that way I can, you can cast them out if you have their name because you're addressing them directly. But once I recognized what was going on, I actually saw it. I don't know if I saw it in my third eye or if I saw it right in front of me, but I saw this guy on top of me, and he was really, really, really creepy. He was wearing like jeans and like this dark shirt. He looked like a total fucking loser, guys. I don't like, he was not a nice guy like in his past life. He had like dark hair, and you could tell it was like kind of unkempt, and it was kind of like longer. Like, he was a freaking loser, and he was just laying on top of me, just like smirking, like he's got me or something like that. And it was so funny because of all my angel training, because of all of my God spot training. I literally just like was like weirded out, and then I just looked at him and I just went, ha. And then I said, no, and he literally vanishes. It was the weirdest experience. Like, physically, I think one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had as far as like jumpers. I can say after that experience, I became so comfortable in my God spot and working with low level entities that I've had things come around me, but not things really able to attack me. The second that they attack me and I figure out that what's going on, it's literally just go away. So if you guys don't know, there's a lot of different channels that like talk about this. I really like Naya's Little Corner of the Universe. She talks a lot about near-death experiences and stuff like that. She talks about the God spot. She had a near-death experience where she left her body. She's like, entities down here are very, very weak, you guys. I'm well aware of that. That's why I do this professionally. So my job here is just to kind of like lock you guys into your God spot. So as far as that story time for jumpers, I only have one experience. I do have experiences with other people and demonic entities either haunting their homes or things like that. It's more or less the same kind of thing. They are a little bit more aware of their power. As far as like spirit ones do, they'll kind of mock demons because demons are a little bit more, I guess, powerful. I don't really, give them that much power. I call them kind of ankle biters. So if you guys have any questions about demons, body jumpers, anything like that, I hope you enjoyed, my spookiness over here. I'm just being kind of goofy today because I have to record and I have to go to multi-dimensional meetings today and stuff like that. So I have really a lot going on, but this is my favorite thing that I have to do. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, anything like that. Please inbox me if you have specific questions. Y'all have had really awesome questions lately. I can say the people are also people who watched my channel. I had a couple people message me and say because of my channel, it pushed them to start their own channel. That's fucking awesome. I love it. So yeah, feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, any questions, anything you guys want, feel free to message me at wmegan939@gmail.com, and we'll talk soon. Bye.